Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. And Austin, man, I'm so glad to have you along with me. The dogs on Saturday were not barking. In fact, it appears as if they've been put down after their loss against Arkansas, 58-25. This is our post game for Arkansas, where we will talk about what went right for Mississippi State, what went wrong, and what was missing. And man, what went wrong and what was missing seems to like I feel like there's a laundry list. I mean, just a long list of things we can talk about. Somehow we're gonna have to pick what went right in this game. I don't know how.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, I mean, so glad to be here. It's a tough episode to record, but I mean, I really wish this wasn't even a dang option because this is just, I mean, there was just no right. If I were to pick a right, there wasn't a lot of it. If I were to pick a right, I would say Xavier Gayton, true freshman running back, got like 2 runs, and they were good, and that happened. And that's literally. I don't want to talk anymore
And
about.
that's the
I don't.
only
I
thing that went right.
For me, it is. I mean, just for the expectations. I mean, we both picked Mississippi State to win this game, and then we get absolutely blown out by 33 points. So
Which it
it's
does
tough
need to
out
be
here.
noted. Austin and I both picked Mississippi State to win this game, but that is the first time we have picked Mississippi State to win a game, I think, since like week 2 or something. Like I don't
Week
we
three. I
hadn't.
mean, I picked us to beat Toledo in week 3.
Sure, which is understandable, but it's not like this is a Mississippi State podcast, an SEC podcast, but we don't like we have not just been picking Mississippi State. Just it felt right because of the trajectory that this team was appeared
Yeah.
on as if they were going towards. But man, what a horrible, horrible game for Mississippi State, and specifically defensively. Uh, Let me just get the exactly right. Let me get the right out of the way, and then we can talk about what people really want to talk about. I, what went right? Michael Van Buren. He was as good as he could have been. I mean, I guess that's what went right. Like he was under pressure all day. People in his face all day. The first play of the game or second play of the game offensively, he the pressure from Arkansas was so strong. It's a strip sack, and Arkansas gets it, and obviously they score like the very next play to start the game. I mean, that's how you begin the game in that manner. And other than that, I mean, Van Buren again played as well as he could, considering all the factors. 309, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I know one of them was tipped, but that's about all that went right for Mississippi State in this game. I mean, towards the end of I think the third quarter, they had a pretty decent quarter, and then it all went away. It all went away. So then we talk about what went wrong before we talk about what was missing from Mississippi State. Before we get there, listen, maybe you've had a tough day watching college football, a tough weekend. You need to enjoy something, just something to enjoy. Um, I would recommend if you're in Starkville or Golden Triangle, anywhere in that area, go to Starkville, go to the Cotton District, and go to Arpa's Coffee and Bar. Arpa's understands that great food and drinks are best enjoyed in the company of friends and loved ones. Their inviting atmosphere creates a perfect backdrop for laughter, conversation, and shared memories. Hopefully, none of these shared memories from this game, but whether you're seeking a good spot to catch up over coffee, a lively gathering place to celebrate a special occasion, or a vibrant late night hangout, their friendly staff is dedicated to ensuring your experience is nothing short of exceptional. Located in the heart of Starkville in the Cotton District, if you mention that you heard about them on My Dogs Are Barking, you get 15% off whatever you order. So, would certainly recommend. Man, you could use something from there right now to cheer you up. What went wrong for Mississippi State? I mean, how do you pinpoint what went wrong in this game? Mississippi State's defense made Talon Green look unreal. He was 315, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. He ran for 79 yards and a touchdown. And coming in the past couple of games, he hasn't been running it. Like he has not gotten loose. He's just been kind of throwing it. Braylon Russell, the running back, the backup running back, or backup running back, had 175 yards. Rashawn Dubignon, which I think is the third string running back, had 98 yards. I'll stop there, but I mean, you kind of see where this is going. What went wrong for Mississippi State in this game? Um, Austin, you go.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it's so hard to pinpoint something. I'm gonna say the turnovers, we had 5. I mean, there's 0. I mean, there's 0 excuse for that. That goes offensively, but then defensively, offensively, we just weren't that 3rd and 4th quarter. They were scoring so many points just because, our offense was not giving our defense good field position to withstand them, and we can't. We have guys that just, like our defense just can't get any stops. And so, we're giving them good field position almost every drive in that second half. So they were just running up the score. And so yeah, I would say the turnovers, 5 turnovers, two fumbles, interception, and then 2 turnovers on downs. We gotta fix that. Well, that's just that can't happen, especially these like strip sacks. It's getting ridiculous. Our offensive line is terrible. And yeah, we got to fix that. The interception was the receiver's fault. I forgot who Van Buren threw to, but it was 100% not Van Buren's fault. It was a tipped pass he should have caught and into the defender's hands. And then the 2 turnover on downs. Well, no, we had the fumble too by I want to say Johnny Daniels fumbled it at like the 1 yard line, and then we had the we had the first and goal, and then the second and goal, third and goal, fourth and goal. Never got to score. And then, so maybe we had 6 turnovers. I don't even know, but it was just mainly just the turnovers.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, yeah. How in the world do you pinpoint that? And at the moment of this podcast being recorded, Coleman Hutzler is still the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State. By the time this comes out, that might not be the case. We'll see. We'll see. Um, it's just so weird, and especially Mississippi State fans. If you've been watching State for a while, the one thing that you can pretty much always count on is them having a defensive line of dudes, like guys who can really get after it and rush the passer. And there's not one. What went wrong in this game for Mississippi State for me? That if you had to pinpoint one thing, the defensive line has no push. It's just so odd that Taylon Green and anybody else that they have all day to throw. So receivers get open, and that's why whenever a quarterback drops back to pass, if you've been watching the game and you go, "How did that guy get that open?" Um, One of the things is the quarterback has that long to throw, and so receivers can move around, can navigate. Uh, because there's no push. It's just so wild. There's no sacks again in this game for Mississippi State. They still have 5 for the entire season, and they just wrapped up their 8th game of the year. 5. That's crazy. I hate to compare Mississippi State to their bitter rival, but Ole Miss, I think they're credited having 10 sacks in their game versus Oklahoma. And you have 5 the whole season? Geez, it's really bad. The defensive line had no push at all for against Arkansas, and so Taylor Green had all day long. And look, I don't even know who the quarterback is for UMass. I have no clue, but he's got to be excited. Like he's got to be thinking, man, this is really my moment to show to showcase my skills versus an SEC team. What went wrong for me is specifically the defensive line. Before we get to what was missing in this game, also I did want to mention Davon Booth in this game was really remarkable. So he caught that initial 54-yard touchdown in the first quarter. That really, I think probably fans saw that and went, "Oh man, here we go. We're gonna have some high scoring in this game." He ended the day in terms of rushing yards. Like he had a good day statistically, 17 rushes, 93 yards. That's good enough for about 5.5 a carry. But he did have a 38-yard run at one point. He's just kind of boom or bust, and sometimes more bust. He's running really hard, but for every it's either like 14 yards or loses 2. That the offensive line is just it has no push. There's just no push at all, and so whoever's back there. Fourth and goal. You mentioned fourth and goal. Fourth and goal from the 1 yard, or first and goal all the way through fourth, and they could not get in from the 1 yard line. Like you have that little of a push. Then you get like the play calling with Chris Parson. I don't know. The offensive. Am I right or wrong on this, Austin? The offensive line is the second worst unit on the team behind the defensive line. Am I right or wrong on that? Do you think the secondary is worse than the offensive line?
No, I think the offensive line is worse. I think, yeah, secondary, we're not as, but yeah, I don't, I think you're right about that for sure.
Yeah, because secondary obviously like they've got plenty of issues, But at least with the secondary, or with the secondary, the defensive line's a part of that. Like, you can only keep somebody covered for so long, and if they have all day to throw, they're going to get themselves open. I mean, just it's rough. I remember, the 2016 defense has always been the one people are like, that defense was really bad, and they were bad under Peter Sermon. But this is really bad, a really really bad defense. Um, what was the main part of what was missing in this game? Like, is there a big part that, like, if this one thing was changed, this game goes another way for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say our defense because our defense, I mean, quite frankly, has never been there all season. I mean, they've never been there. They've been missing all season. So this I would say the offense. I mean, Levy, the play calls weren't that great, to be honest. A lot of questionable calls, but the offense was not what everybody was thinking. I mean, it wasn't what Showtime is all about, and I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about, let's get, let's stop talking about all the Showtime and all this stuff, and let's just focus on winning. And I mean, our offense, if they're going to keep playing like that, I mean, they're not going to be winning many games, especially in the red zone. We've been bad. We've been a terrible red zone team all year. Not a lot of discipline offensively. You had that Seydu play. I don't even want to talk about it. It's just, I mean, just lack of discipline. And
Sipping the tea.
yeah, and he's throwing the ball up. That was the flag. He threw the ball up, and he didn't even score, so it was worthless. But I just, yeah, I would say our offense, because we really expected our offense to come out and to compete with Arkansas's offense, but I mean, it's just, it was not it. I mean, the offense was missing. I mean, like you said, the first quarter we played pretty good, but other than that, no. Kyle Ferry missed a 42-yard field goal that he should have made, and it's just, I mean, just everything was going wrong for the Bulldogs today.
Yeah, there was just not a ton of positives in this game. Man, just from top to bottom, and the pessimism is an all time. I mean, it's rough. And look, this is a rebuild. We've said this. This is a part of a rebuild. But you and I were talking about this on Thursday, the pick show. Which, by the way, got to shout out Austin on underdog moneyline picks. Austin is. Are you 4 for 4 the last four shows, 4 weeks?
I think I am. I think I am.
That's crazy. As a total, I think you and I both. I think we're combined. What would it be? 6 for 8.
Yeah, I think we're six
Yeah, I
for
think
eight.
we're
Yeah.
combined 6 for 8. But Austin is 4 for 4. So if you're going to listen to anybody's money line pick as an underdog outright on Thursday, listen to Austin, because this man has nailed it, like, 4 weeks in a row. So, um, and anyway, we thought, though, after the part of the rebuild is like struggle, get a little bit better, improve a little bit better, get a signature win. And, like, even if you win 3 games this year, but you say we got like one SEC win, that's something. Now, Mississippi State's going to have to go either win versus Ole Miss, Tennessee, or Missouri. And none of those. I mean, none of those look good at all. Missouri, I think, is the best looking one, but yeah, Luther Burden and company is going to make those guys look silly at the moment. But we also talked about some of those teams, because since Missouri lost, there could be some opt outs. There could be some guys going, "I'm good. We're done for the season." It's rough. Some of those guys, I'll tell you what it is. Some of those guys wanting to make themselves rich, wanting to get to the next level, wanting to become rich, which brings us to our next next portion, which kind of begs the question, Austin: what does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Skip Langley is your Batesville, Mississippi, Edward Jones advisor, serving clients in the area and across the state of Mississippi. Count on him for financial strategies that can help support a life you love. Because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. So contact him today at 662 563 9843. And together, you can find your rich. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Did you like how I tucked that one on in there? Awesome.
That was good. That was good.
We'll try to make that a weekly occurrence. Awesome. So that was the part that was missing. I'll just very briefly speak on this. Missing for me is just any sense of coverage. There were so many people streaking wide open that he had all day to throw, and then when he did, people were open. It's just weird. It's just weird seeing Mississippi State be this bad. And coming into this game, Mississippi State was the worst team in the SEC by 600 yards. The closest team was not within 600 yards. And I have not done all my numbers, but I would be willing to bet that number's grown to 800 maybe. I got to do the number, but like Mississippi State gave up what? Oh my gosh. Oh geez, man. Mississippi State gave up almost 700 yards of offense in this game. Gosh, dog. It's rough. The question is awesome. Where do you go from here? Like if you're an administrator, I know people are begging for Coleman Hutzler to be let go. He makes it a pretty decent chunk of cash though.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do you do?
I mean, I feel like you got to. I think it was 672 yards, and we're not close to any other team in the SEC. You can say it's personnel, and I agree with you. It is. I mean, partially, it definitely is personnel, but this is getting ridiculous. I mean, there's no sign of life in this defense. No sign of life. So I think you got to make. I think you just got to get a whole new defensive staff in there. I think you start from the ground up. And I mean, even if we do let go of Coleman Hutzler right now, and we got co-defensive coordinator, and then we also have obviously the position coaches too, so we'd be chilling for the rest of the season. But yeah, I think you got to make moves in the entire defensive staff. I think it's a must, and I do not want to watch this defense for another season. I do not.
What's the benefit though? I wonder in letting him go today. Like I guess that to me the risk is that if you keep him on staff, like if you keep him on the staff to the end of the season, then let him go. Well, then you got a big risk of people, flipping and going, oh, what in the heck? And then you have no time to recoup and get your guys back, you know? But
Yeah.
if you let him go now, you can maybe salvage some of those relationships. I don't know. Like what outweighs the other?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's definitely up to Zach Selman and Jeff Lebby just to see what they think and see how our recruiting class is, and that's what it's going to be mainly about because it's going to be hard to keep those guys in the recruiting class if Coleman's gone. I mean, so I don't really know. I really don't know what the future is, but I think we got to go get a full new defensive staff and whatever. I mean, even if we do lose recruits, I feel positive that it's worth it. I think we got to go get a guy that's been a defensive coordinator before, and he's just working up the ranks, and we just get lucky with that with the hire.
Yeah, remember 2009, Mississippi State hires Manny Diaz, or 2010, sorry, Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz was at Middle Tennessee State, but he had been a defensive coordinator before, and he had
Mm-hmm.
all these exotic blitzes, and we're doing big things. And he had a great season in Mississippi State. You got to go hire somebody that's done it before, right? I guess I just don't get it. And there's always this disclaimer that's like, okay, but you're not an administrator. You don't get paid to make these. These people
Yeah,
obviously must know. But like, man, he had never done it before. And,
yeah,
and I don't know, if I'm Jeff Lebby, it has to be exhausting knowing like I have to score every time.
yeah.
I have to because he knows they're going to give up points in
Mm-hmm.
in one way or the other. Like he knows, man, I have got to go down and score like immediately, or else this is looking bad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I think we're one of the most teams that go for it on fourth down just because of that. We're just trying to get that one more down where we can trying to get a first down just because our defense, I mean, we can't stop anybody. So I mean, but like I've said this before, and I said this last season too. We make every quarterback look good. I mean, we make every single quarterback play look unbelievable. Like I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And last year too, we played like Western Michigan's third string quarterback, and he threw like 20 for 25 or just something wild. And this year it's been the same thing. Tucker Gleason at Toledo looked like a dang Heisman candidate. I mean, we've been doing it all season. And I mean, UMass is I don't know what his name is, but he's up next. So. We'll see.
Yeah, and Robbie Falk from On Three had he always does great with his numbers, and he had pointed out what like Taylor Green's average kind of game is, and Mississippi State just made him look unbelievable, just as they have all season. And I don't know, man. Fans are they're just not used to this level of ineptitude
Yeah.
on the defensive side of things. So, man, there's a lot of things in terms of what went wrong, what was missing. I mean, it's endless.
Yeah.
Also, I'll shout out to Robbie Falk. He asked a tough question in the presser about kind of the defensive staff and the expectations, and something that probably wasn't fun to ask, and obviously Jeff Levy probably didn't feel like answering it. But it has to be asked. You cannot consistently do this, and they know that. They know that the writing might be on the wall for what they need to do next. But it's unfortunate, Austin, and this week we will look at. Actually, let's take a second. Let's take a second and let's look at Mississippi State's remaining schedule. The remainder, I won't have it up on the screen, but for the remainder for Mississippi State season, this upcoming Saturday they have UMass at 3:15. UMass is 2-6 and is coming off a 35-7 win over Wagner, so that's great news. And then they go on the road at Tennessee, host Missouri, at Ole Miss. Do they go 1-3? Do they beat UMass?
Yeah, I mean, I think y'all have to see our UMass breakdown video, but yeah, I think we're going to pull out UMass. I hope so. I mean, they have a better record than us currently, so I don't know, but yeah, I don't think. I mean, after today, I don't think there's. I mean, and our predictions might change. They've definitely changed over the year, but as of right now, there's not looking like a snowball's chance we're gonna win Tennessee, Missouri, or Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, going on the road in Neyland with Nico on a Saturday night sounds horrible. I mean, that sounds so bad. Oh my goodness, man, it's crazy stuff. So, there were a few things you could point out that were good. I mean, under a lot of duress, Michael Van Buren played about as good as he could have. Honestly, he did. But other than that, man, not a lot of positive things. So, however, this week, even despite all those things, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in college football. We will have guests on the show on Wednesday. You don't want to miss that. Last week on Wednesday, we had John Neighbors on the show, and it was really good. So Wednesdays, we try to make those our guest shows. So check that out. We will have some good stuff. Remember, Thursday is going to be our matchups and picks show. If you only watch that show just to see Austin's underdog money line pick, it's going to be worth your time. It will, because that's the one part of this thing that we've gotten right, is having Austin here to make his pick. So, Bulldog fans, also, basketball season is very close, so that's some good news. You got some good news to look for that. But Austin, man, I that's all I got. We've covered some tough stuff today. Anything you want to finish out with before we move on from our recap?
Nah, man. I mean, I was going to mention basketball too. Let's go to the tournament this year. I look forward to watching some college men's and women's basketball and just anything. But I will say we're the number one team in the SEC of women's soccer. So, women's sports matter.
Shout out. That's exactly right. Shout out to head coach James Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out for them getting those women right, man. They're sitting on top of the SEC and doing phenomenal. So we will certainly cheer for them when we definitely cannot cheer for the football team. So, but that is okay. Listen, win, lose badly, whatever the case may be, we will continue to cover Mississippi State and talk about that. Have intriguing guests on just to give us a little insider into what is going on. So stay tuned in, stay locked in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. If you listen to the show but you have not subscribed to MPW Digital, and if you're a Mississippi State fan, and you see several things that are posted from Ole Miss, kind of coverage, I get it. MPW Digital, however, has like 7 different shows, and it's not all of them are. Most of them are not Ole Miss related. So we're the Mississippi State show on MPW Digital. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe. We're almost 10,000 subs on YouTube, which is really, really cool. So give us a sub, comment, like, share the video, and we will see you next time. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter.